Uh, Any public here? Did you have anything to say, Mr. Printup? Okay, thanks. Board correspondence, did everyone see we had a letter from the MBAA? Okay. Expressing a concern about the voting down of the SRO, the last meeting. Okay, information and reports. I don't think we have anything. Then reports from administration. Mr. Burke.
Yes. So thank you for meeting, and one of the major items tonight is to approve the contract for hazardous material abatement. It's asbestos abatement, part of the capital outlay project, which will be at J.W. Leary. This work will hopefully be done over one of our breaks, hopefully at Christmas break, and it'll remove in the base bid approximately 4 rooms of floor tile and a couple of smaller storage areas. Alternate number 2 adds in 1 additional classroom and 2 small storage rooms that are located nearby. Those floors will all be left bare with concrete and cleaned up, and then we'll be putting new tile down, and it's part of the overall capital project, again, trying to maximize our aid.
Okay. I believe we have a need for an executive session to discuss litigation for tax certiorari.
Correct.
Agreement, concerns and challenges. We get a motion for executive session.
Second.
Any discussion?
The only discussion I'd like to add to the agenda before we go. I'd like to have a conversation here about the SRO position, the second position that was voted down at the last meeting.
I second that motion.
Okay, so we have a first and a second to go to executive session. And then in discussion, we got another motion.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I can
So
hold
we
it
get-
until we can put it.
Wait till we get back.
Hit the pause till we get back. That's fine.
Okay.
I just wanted to get
very
it
good.
out there.
Yeah, okay, we can bring it up when we get out under recommended actions. There's an opportunity there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we got a first and a second for executive session. Discussion about the other motion. All in favor? Motion carries. We go to executive session. Do we have an obligation to do something about the other motion first and second, or can we table it right now and then bring it up again later? What's the right way to do that? Could you help me with that? We get a motion to table Dan's motion or concern, because we have a first and a second before we leave, just to do things properly.
So moved.
All in favor? Very good. Okay, we'll go to executive session. All right, so we have recommended actions, items for action, approval for hazardous materials contract bid. Can I get a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did. Oh, there we go.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Approval of personnel action items, Mr. Burke.
I recommend approval of personnel action items listed 1 through 13.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? That's everybody. Motion carries. Any other recommended actions that we may have heard about before executive session?
Yeah, I'd like to have a conversation about the additional SRO position.
So I think we need to have a motion to, we need to agree to bring the motion up. So you need a first and a second. Is that correct, Ashley? Yeah. To add it back to the agenda. So you need a first and a second to add it to the agenda, and then we'll discuss it, I believe.
Okay, so I'll move that we add it to the agenda.
So moved.
So we have Dan and Tim as the second. Okay, discussion. So the motion is to reconsider the appointment of the second SRO.
Correct.
As written, there was, jump in there.
So under...
don't have it in front of
Yep,
us, so.
Under section 3.2, the contract was amended for the prorated. It now reads, for the period of September 1, 26 to June 30th, 2027, the school district will pay the village the actual amount of the salary plus benefits for the SRO, excluding overtime, which sum shall not exceed $152,662 prorated. And
And the
Mrs.
start
Murphy-
date?
Yep, Mrs. Murphy, you brought up 11.0. So we left that, the term of the agreement is for September 1, 26 to June 30th, 2027, and that also allows us to establish that prorated effective September 30th. I'm sorry, September 1st.
September 1st.
Any further discussion?
I think we should also, I hope everybody read the letter from the MBAA that is in reference to the SRO. They are in favor of us hiring the second SRO.
I agree. I saw the letter, and I like the support that they brought to it, but they didn't bring any justification. I have a list of reasons why I don't agree with it, but I would have liked to see why it supports the teachers, why it supports the principals. But I can appreciate that they put their name and the union behind it, so it's great.
Okay. Any other further discussion?
I'd like to bring up that Bruce had pointed out that if you look at the total population of Massena and you look at our total population, that it warrants that on a police staff of 20, that 2 would be delegated to 25% of the residents. I also think that having somebody who is now trained, correct, Mr. Berg?
Yeah, in the process still, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, is that second SRO, I know that they will work in conjunction, but is he kind of mentored by the current SRO as well?
They've been in quite a bit of conversation about what to expect, and there'll be a lot of interaction between the two, yes.
So, and you've witnessed personal positive personal interactions with students and the current SRO?
Every day, with some of the most challenging children, with what's remarkable, again, I'll say it again, the interaction that exists between our current SRO and the families. And sometimes these are not about positivity aspects. They're, hey, we've got a problem, and they respond, most respond very, very positively towards Officer Flynn.
I believe a few times this year, Mr. Burke shared with us some data that detailed the impact of the SRO. I don't have any of it memorized.
Yeah, I think, so Officer Flynn keeps a daily log, and he was very good about it. He'll probably be upset that I'm saying this out loud, but he had his handwritten notes, and usually at the end of each day, he'd go back in and type it in. And his caseload was just so incredible towards the last 3 or 4 months. He spent a good portion of the summer getting those entries put in from handwritten over into the actual database that he shares with me. And it is considerable. And again, that's good data. More telling, again, is what I witnessed at the back-to-school event when Detective Flynn was here along with Officer Hatch, and we had an older student who has had some life challenges run over to him and give him a hug, tell him how good her summer was going, how eager she was to come back. I didn't see her go to anybody else. She went to Officer Flynn. We have a lot of miracle workers on our staff, and I'm very proud to say that Mike Flynn is one of them. And I think that Officer Hatch will, if approved, would do the same. We have just an incredible group here at Massena, and they fit right in.
It's just to think about this a little bit further, because I appreciate that we're talking about it a little bit more. We can't hire based on their personalities are so good. There's got to be job descriptions that would carry on in the future once they once they're gone. Is there a job description that covers most of how you're describing his function right now?
The job description is very prescribed as an SRO, but I think what it really comes down to, Bruce, is what are the attributes that we're looking beyond what's written in terms of the black and white? Because we could have a law enforcement officer here, and they could be providing just security. They could be walking around, and I think what you're talking about is we want clones of Mike Flynn, and I'll say it, that's who I want. I want somebody who's exactly like him in terms of how he interacts with students, with families, and for a person, and I'm around law enforcement a lot in my other activities, on the good side, but he's not what you think of as that stereotypical. We all have those stereotypes, right? Well, he might have cuffs and he might have all the other stuff of a police officer. His idea really is, how do I get to the root cause of the problem, and how do I fix that root cause of the problem? And that's what we need. It's school resource officer. I think that's what sometimes gets missed.
Right, and we're getting that probably with Officer Hatch too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about the next one unless we have some sort of job description that's, substantial enough so we don't get somebody who's just about security in the future. The other thing is are we pioneering this, or are there other school systems that are benchmarking this, that we've said, oh, look at that, and this is very common, in other words, or is this uncommon?
How many SROs do you have in Malone?
5, I believe. We still have 5. We have 1 per building. And I think a lot of times it depends on an individual's personality. But speaking to some of your earlier points, Detective Flynn isn't going to work forever, which is why it's really important to get someone in now who can work with him and be guided somewhat by what's made his time successful If we wait until Detective Flynn retires and we bring someone else in who hasn't seen the way he works and interacts with students and families, staff, we're starting all over again. Beyond that, this is a large district. I've said it before, you can't put a price on safety, and it's really important to have officers who are familiar with every one of your buildings. So if there is an issue, they're not lost walking through the front door. They know every door, they know the staff, they know a lot of the students. So if there's an issue they have to respond to and deal with, that's a major plus.
Bruce, I'll work with the chief and with Detective Flynn to try to come up with some character attributes of what we're looking for in an SRO. That way it'll guide the, as we talk about replacements in the future, if we go that route, that way we have a guide for what we're looking for in the interview process.
They
Also-
likely have some of that already because they have a designation for what is it? The youth. They have a youth officer,
They do.
and Detective Flynn is that or was that.
He still is.
He still is.
And
So-
there are two things, that I think what you were asking about. So one of them is if you see in the contract, it does say that they will keep a daily log and that will be shared. So there is some accountability and some data that we already have that we can track. And the other thing is, as Dan said, they need to know every single building principal, even if that's not their primary building, and the fact that the MBAA, which all of the building principals belong to, are asking for this, it does seem that they have experienced very positive interaction with Detective Flynn, and that they are now asking for the second.
Yeah,
SRO.
I agree. I just want to make sure we're dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
No,
We know what to expect going forward, and
Right.
you know.
No,
and-
I
and-
agree.
And
I'm just-
understanding this one thing too, this is a burden, financial burden that's being transferred over to the school system from the village. So, right or wrong, that's what's happening. And maybe it's right, just that's what's happening.
So it's my understanding we had a short attendance last week, myself included in that, and so we voted on this contract, right? And so, but I guess because I wasn't here, I can't say a whole lot about it. But I guess there's an opportunity, I guess, with some language that this could have been pushed to maybe today's meeting or to next month's meeting. And I guess I wasn't here, so I don't know, but what was kind of the decision making in doing it last week versus waiting to change the language and explore that?
So I believe that I made the motion, and my reasoning was Officer Hatch came back to the school and was having interactions and observing Officer Flynn, and I felt like instead of waiting until the school year already began, that it would be better to have this person on board as we lead up to school and when our new staff comes in, because they won't know this person, that they would have an opportunity to meet the person at the opening sessions with faculty and staff. So that was my reasoning, that the sooner that we can approve that contract, the better for continuity.
Okay. So it was a timing? Mm-hmm. Timing, okay.
I agree that Mr. Flynn is a good guy. I've known him 25 years. He has boys, I have boys. Their boys play together. I got to know him. They were on the same team, and I know how he interact and how kids are important for him. That's when he start getting involved in schools. So I have absolutely no problem with Mr. Flynn. I have a problem with the SRO position in a school. I'm here for the education for the kids, and I don't think that's what we're doing, and I don't think we're putting the financial resource at the right place. I have a ton of arguments about this, against this, but I don't want to bring them here because I know it's useless. We're going to vote for it. I'm only one vote, so go ahead, vote for it, and it's going to be accepted. I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. I already said my piece many times in the past. I just wanted to say, in addition to close on this, that I'm disappointed that we're bringing this to a vote because it was not part of the agenda. Many people in the community supported me and would have probably come and talked about it, but they didn't know we were going to vote on it tonight.
I did want to make one other comment, Robert, in light of that. You had said, I don't want an SRO, I would rather have a social worker, and I don't know if it got lost in translation because some people were unaware. We do have social workers at every single building, and in addition to counselors. So we have counselors, we have school psychologists, and we have social workers, and we have a parole officer as well, right? I mean, she comes in as needed.
Yes, yep.
Right. So there are other support systems that we do have in place, and the SRO position, when you said you'd rather have a social worker, we do have those. We do have those at each building.
Just so I'm clear, we just made a motion for discussion about the SRO, right? Not on any action? Because in the last meeting, we didn't have a
I think we
quorum.
still need to vote to approve adding it to the agenda so that we could vote on it. Is that correct?
I think so. Because that's part of the process. You have to vote and agree to add it to the agenda because it wasn't on the agenda.
So I made a motion to add it to the agenda. Tim seconded, correct?
So maybe we're having the discussion that we should have been having on the next motion. Either way.
Either way.
Any further discussion on the motion to add to the agenda? All in favor? Against? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the second SRO position.
A second.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor? Against? Motion carries. Okay, I don't... Ghost town out there. Okay, I don't think we have any comments from the public yet. Okay, can we get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Very good. Thank you.